comedian Bill Maher roasts the liberal New York Times for how they cover the attempted assassination of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh this week, saying the paper downplayed the incident because Kavanaugh is a conservative.
The point I would agree with is the New York Times buried this.
Yeah, it was like a tiny thing below the fold.
If this had been a liberal Supreme Court justice that someone came to kill, it would have been on the front page. And that's what's so disappointing about a paper like the New York Times, because they just wear their bias on their sleeves, and if it's not part of something that feeds our narrative, it.
Jimmy, they wear their bias on their sleeve. To you first.
I mean, it's totally true. I mean, the media is a bunch of activists masquerading as journalists. We know this. And you don't hear a peep out of anybody, any prominent Democratic politician or administration official who was encouraging the protests outside the home of SCOTUS justices. And when there's a double standard on political violence, there is no standard. We all know that. I mean, the only person I'll give a pass to here is Pelosi, because she's too busy finding a designated driver for her husband right now. But the rest of them should have said something.
Well, and Laura, speaking of Nancy Pelosi, let's talk about the Senate unanimously approved a bill to help better protect Supreme Court justices, except it's being held up in the House. Here's the Speaker.
You said the justices are protected, but there was an attempt on Justice Kavanaugh's life.
It's protected. The justices are protected. This issue is not about the justice. It's about staff and the rest. Nobody is in danger over the weekend because of our not having a bill.
So, Laura, this isn't just a matter of the New York Times downplaying it. We're talking about the House of Representatives and Democrats.
I mean, it's just so crazy, Alicia. They're protected, says Nancy Pelosi, as though we believe her at all. There was just an assassination attempt on a Supreme Court justice. But it's not just Nancy Pelosi. It's not just the folks in the House of Representatives. You had Joe Biden, the day this happened, in front of press with the ability to comment on this. And to Bill Maher's point, he is exactly right. Had this been a liberal Supreme Court justice, I mean, people would not, we wouldn't have stopped talking about it. It is all that the left would be talking about. It's all that would cover the front page of every newspaper across America. And we know that. And it's so upsetting because the law isn't even being followed as it is written right now. It is illegal to demonstrate in front of any of these justices' homes, yet nothing has been done about it. What about Merrick Garland? What about anybody addressing the fact that we're just letting them break the law? How is that acceptable? It's really upsetting to see. And of course, no one is surprised. You have people out there acting this way and doing something that is illegal. No one's stopping them. You're going to get one of these people in the mix that wants to cause more damage, that wants to inflict further harm. And I just have to say, I know that he would rather have bamboo shoots shoved under his fingernails than have me as a fan. But Bill Maher continues to impress me, and I might be very close to being a fan. I know he doesn't want to hear that, but he's kind of got me.
Okay. Well, Guy, Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she took to Instagram just to explain to everyone why she is not voting for the SCOTUS justice protection. Take a listen.
Oh, so we can pass protections for us and here easily, right? But we can't pass protections for everyday people? I think not. So I'm going to need a roll call vote.
And guys, so what she's talking about there is that the Democrats are trying to tie in gun legislation to this protection, and that's the reason for blocking. But do you think this would have happened, as to Bill Maher's point, if this would have been a liberal justice?
No, she'd be singing a very different tune. She'd be outraged in a different way. And I don't really follow that logic anyway, because the Democrats in the House just passed a bunch of gun control bills out of that chamber. And also, when we're talking about the lives of Supreme Court justices, I think we spent a lot of time in Washington focused on an attack on democracy on January 6th. That was in the headlines this week because of the committee. Well, this is also part of our system of government. And going after the independent judiciary in a violent way with this type of threat and the way that this individual is apparently prepared to assassinate a justice, that is a clear and present danger to the United States government. and for AOC to say, well, unless we get all these other agenda items through on other things, we really shouldn't be bothered to make sure that justices and their families are protected. I think that fails logically. I think that's really an immoral and terrible thing for her to suggest. I'm not sure she's really thought it through very carefully. And I do wonder if she's aware, for example, that some of these left-wing groups that have doxed these justices at their homes, is she aware that some of these groups have also talked about where, for example, Justice Barrett's children go to school? Where does this stop? It's outrageous, and it should be bipartisan condemnation.
Yeah, absolutely.